When most people quit, the 2% keep going. They embrace the struggle because they know it's what leads to the breakthrough. Success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to those who show up, do the work, and refuse to quit when it gets hard. Have you ever wondered why only 2% of people seem to achieve their dreams, while the other 98% struggle to make it? Why does success seem so far out of reach for most, while only a few manage to break through and live the life they've always wanted? It's not about luck, it's not about talent, and it's not about being in the right place at the right time. The truth is, success is something that's earned, and most people aren't willing to do what it takes to make it happen. We're all capable of so much more than we realize, but something holds most of us back. In this video, we're going to break down the hard truth behind why only a small percentage of people succeed. We're going to take a closer look at what really sets the winners apart from everyone else. If you've ever felt like giving up, like the world is too tough, or like your dreams are too big, this is the message you need to hear. The fact is, success comes with a cost, one that most people aren't willing to pay. But if you're ready to find out what separates the 2% from the rest, stay with me and let's dive in. This is the moment that could change everything for you. You might just find that you're closer to success than you think, but it's going to take a few key shifts in mindset and action. So let's dive in. Number 1, the reality of success. Why only a few make it the journey to success is something everyone talks about. And yet, when you really take a close look at it, you'll notice something that's hard to ignore. Not everyone makes it. In fact, only about 2% of people actually succeed in the way they dream about. The truth is, most people don't make it. They start strong, but somewhere along the way, they fade out. They quit. So why is that? Success isn't a mystery, but it is a challenge. A lot of people want to succeed, but not everyone is willing to do what it takes. And that's where the gap begins. The gap between those who make it and those who don't. We all start with good intentions, but when things get tough, most people give up. They let the excitement wear off, and they lose sight of what they were originally chasing. They forget why they started. The reality is that success requires more than just wishing for it. It's not about hoping you'll get lucky. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity or perfect moment. It's about what you do, day in and day out, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. Most people underestimate this part of the process. They think success should come faster or easier, and when it doesn't, they quit. They never push through the difficult parts of the journey. So here's the first hard truth you need to face if you want to be part of that 2%. You've got to understand that success doesn't come without sacrifice. It doesn't come without effort. You can't expect to sit back and hope everything will fall into place. You've got to be ready to put in the work, day in and day out, without expecting immediate rewards. You've got to embrace the grind, and you've got to keep moving forward, even when the results are slow to show. It's easy to look at successful people and think they've got it made. They look like they're living the dream. But what you don't see are the countless hours of work, the failures, the sacrifices, and the difficult decisions they had to make along the way. What you don't see is how many times they had to get up and try again when it felt like they were hitting a wall. Success isn't handed to you. It's earned through persistence, through hard work, and through the determination to keep going no matter what. The real problem is that most people give up long before they ever reach success. They quit before they get the chance to experience the rewards of their hard work. They don't realize that the real value is in the process, not just the outcome. The 2% who succeed are the ones who understand this. They get that the struggle, the pain, the effort, it's all part of the process. They embrace it. And here's something else you need to understand. The journey to success is never as easy as it seems from the outside. When you see someone at the top, it might look like they've had it easy. But trust me, they haven't. They've faced challenges. They've dealt with doubts. They've worked through moments when they wanted to give up. The only difference between them and the person who gives up is that they kept going. They stayed the course, even when things weren't going the way they imagined. It's a mindset. The 2% understand that success is not just a destination. It's a journey. It's about the person you become along the way. And it's about how much you're willing to push yourself. Most people quit because they don't have that mindset. They think that success is about being at the top of the mountain. But real success is about climbing that mountain, even when it seems like there's no end in sight. So why do most people fail? It's not because they don't want it bad enough. It's not because they're not capable. It's because they don't realize what success really requires. They think it's about hitting a lucky break or catching a break from life. But success doesn't come like that. It comes from getting up every day, putting in the work, and learning from every setback along the way. The 2% succeed because they keep going. They understand that success is a long-term game, not a short-term one. Most people fail because they think that success should come easy, and when it doesn't, they give up. But the reality is that if you want to succeed, you've got to be ready to put in the work. You've got to show up every day, even when you're tired, even when it feels like nothing's happening. The 2% don't look for shortcuts. They look for ways to keep improving, keep learning, and keep moving forward. This doesn't mean it's easy, though. No, it's not easy. The hard truth is that it's going to be tough. There will be times when you'll want to quit, when you'll feel like you've done everything you can, and it's still not enough. But the 2% understand that this is part of the process. They understand that success isn't about avoiding the hard times. It's about pushing through them, learning from them, and continuing to move forward. So if you want to be part of the 2%, here's the challenge. Stay the course. Don't let the tough times stop you. Don't let the slow progress discourage you. Keep going. Keep putting in the work. And when it gets hard, and it will get hard, remember this: every challenge you face, every setback, is part of the process. It's not there to stop you. It's there to teach you. If you can learn from each failure, if you can keep going when it feels like you can't, then you're on your way to success. Number 2. Why most people waste time. Time is something everyone has, yet so few actually use it wisely. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it's what we do with those hours that makes all the difference. It's not that people don't want success. They do. But most people waste time in ways that prevent them from ever getting close to reaching their goals. And that's the cold, hard truth. Now, before you get defensive or feel like I'm pointing fingers, let me make something clear. We all waste time. We all get distracted. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware of the time you're losing and taking responsibility for it. The moment you start recognizing where your time is going and making the decision to use it more wisely, that's when you start to see real change. So let's dive into why most people waste time and how it stops them from succeeding. It starts with how most people approach the day. Think about your own routine. How do you spend your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings? If you're like most people, you probably start your day with good intentions. You may even have a to-do list or a set of goals in mind. But by the end of the day, how much of what you plan to do actually gets done? The majority of us get distracted, put things off, or get caught up in things that don't really move us forward. It's not always a conscious decision to waste time. It's just that life has a way of pulling us in a million different directions. Here's the thing. Most people waste time because they're not focused on what's truly important. They get caught up in the trivial things, checking social media, watching TV, gossiping with friends, or even just mindlessly scrolling through their phones. These things don't add any value to your life. They don't move you closer to your goals, but people spend hours on them every day. They become distractions, keeping you from the work that will actually get you ahead. But it's not just mindless activities that waste time. Sometimes it's a lack of planning that leads to wasted time. You might think you're busy, but are you really being productive? How much of what you do each day is actually contributing to the bigger picture? How much time do you spend on things that don't really matter? If you were to take a step back and look at how you spend your day, you'd probably find a lot of wasted time. And the scary part is, when you waste time, you're wasting your life. The clock keeps ticking, and you can't get those minutes, hours, or days back. But even more than that, people waste time because they're not intentional about their lives. They don't have a clear vision of what they want, and because of that, they spend their time on things that are easy, comfortable, or familiar. It's not about being lazy. It's about not having a plan. When you don't know where you're going, it's easy to get distracted along the way. You're not actively working towards something, and so your time gets lost in things that don't really matter. I'm sure you've heard the saying, time is money, and it's true. Every minute you waste is a minute you can't get back. But it's more than just money. Time is the one thing we all have in equal measure, and once it's gone, it's gone. Think about it for a second. What are you doing with your time? Are you spending it on things that are moving you closer to your goals? Or are you letting it slip away on things that don't make a difference? The problem is, when you waste time, you're not just delaying your success. You're sabotaging your future. Every hour you waste is an hour you could have used to learn something new, work on your personal growth, or move one step closer to your dream. But most people don't realize how much time they're wasting until it's too late. They spend their days putting things off, procrastinating, and then wondering why they're not seeing the results they want. A big reason why people waste time is because they don't have a strong sense of urgency. They think there's always tomorrow to do what they need to do. But guess what? Tomorrow never comes. Every time you push something off, you're not just delaying it, you're putting it further out of reach. And one day you'll look back and realize that all those tomorrows added up to nothing. The time you thought you had is gone, and you've missed the opportunity to make something meaningful out of it. Another reason people waste time is because they lack discipline. They get sidetracked by the smallest things, and before they know it, they've wasted hours. The most successful people in the world aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who have the discipline to focus and keep going, no matter what. They've learned how to block out distractions and use their time wisely. It's not always easy, but it's a skill you can develop, and the sooner you start, the sooner you'll see the difference. The other problem is that most people get caught up in the wrong priorities. They're too focused on things that seem important in the moment, but don't really matter in the long run. They focus on the busy work, the emails, the meetings, the social media updates, but they don't focus on what will actually move the needle. They don't focus on the things that will bring them closer to their goals. This is where the time gets wasted. If you don't have clear priorities, you'll end up spending your time on things that don't matter. And let's not forget the most dangerous kind of time wasting: procrastination. Everyone does it. It's easy to put things off, to tell yourself you'll get to it later. But procrastination is like a thief. It steals your time without you even realizing it. The problem with procrastination is that it's easy to justify. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm just too tired right now. But that tomorrow never comes, and you end up further behind. The truth is, if you want to succeed, you can't afford to procrastinate. You have to act now, not later. The only way to stop procrastinating is to start. Even if it's just a small step, the key is to take action, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel like it. If you want to break the cycle of wasting time, you have to get serious about managing it. Start by being honest with yourself about where your time is going. Start tracking how you spend your days. Are you spending time on things that bring you closer to your goals? Are you making progress, or are you stuck in a loop of distractions? When you can answer these questions honestly, you'll have the power to make real change. Time is the most precious resource we have. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. The way you use your time is what will determine whether you succeed or fail. It's not enough to just want success. You have to be willing to put in the time, the effort, and the focus. Time is your most valuable asset, and how you spend it will define your future. So stop wasting it. Make the most of every minute. When you start using your time wisely, you'll start seeing the results you've been waiting for. Success is not just about hard work. It's about smart work, and that means being intentional with your time. Number 3, the fear of failure and rejection. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough. It's one of the biggest barriers to success. People dream big, but when it's time to take action, that fear kicks in. It holds them back, paralyzes them, and stops them from even trying. But here's the truth. If you let fear control you, you'll never get anywhere. Fear is something we all experience, but successful people don't let it stop them. Instead, they face it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to move forward. Now, let's talk about why fear holds so many people back and how it shows up in different ways. First, let's talk about the fear of failure. Most people are so scared of failing that they don't even try. They look at the potential for failure and let that fear stop them from ever getting started. The fear of failure is paralyzing because we've been taught that failing means we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, or that we're just not cut out for success. But failure is not the end. It's a stepping stone. The most successful people have failed many times, but they've learned to see failure not as a defeat, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. They understand that failure is part of the process, not something to be avoided at all costs. It's the people who are too afraid to fail that never even get started. The key is to embrace failure, not run from it. Then there's the fear of rejection. This one is huge for a lot of people, especially when it comes to going after their goals or putting themselves out there. They're afraid of what others will think. They're scared of being judged or criticized. The fear of rejection is paralyzing because it's rooted in our desire for approval. We want people to like us, to agree with us, to accept us. But here's the thing. You can't please everyone. You're not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. The key to overcoming the fear of rejection is to realize that it doesn't define you. Just because someone says no or doesn't support you, it doesn't mean you're not worthy. It just means that particular opportunity or person wasn't the right fit. Rejection is just part of the process, and the sooner you accept that, the easier it is to move past it. But let's dig a little deeper. When you're afraid of rejection or failure, what's really happening is that you're allowing that fear to control your actions, or more accurately, your inaction. You see, fear doesn't just show up as this big, obvious feeling that you can clearly identify. Sometimes it shows up as procrastination. Sometimes it shows up as avoidance. We tell ourselves things like, "I'm not ready yet," or "I'll do it tomorrow," or "It's just not the right time." But those are just excuses. They're the result of fear making you doubt yourself and avoid taking action. It's easier to delay something than it is to face the possibility of failure. But let me tell you, that delay is what keeps you stuck. It's what keeps you from moving forward, from achieving your goals, from living the life you've always dreamed of. The other side of this is that people often don't realize how much their fear is controlling them. We think of fear as this big, dramatic feeling, but most of the time it's subtle. It's the little voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, that you don't have the skills, that you'll mess up. It's the feeling of doubt that creeps in when you think about taking a step forward. And let's be real, that voice is loud. It's convincing. But here's the thing, that voice isn't always telling you the truth. In fact, it's usually lying to you. Fear loves to keep you comfortable. It loves to keep you where you are because it's safer. But if you want to grow, if you want to succeed, you have to learn to ignore that voice. You have to push past it and take action anyway. Let me tell you, fear is not the problem. It's the way you respond to it that determines your success. Everyone feels fear. It's natural. Even the most successful people feel fear. But what separates them from those who don't succeed is that they don't let fear control them. They acknowledge it, but they don't give it the power to stop them. Instead, they take action anyway. They move forward in spite of fear. And the more you do this, the easier it gets. The more you face your fear and act anyway, the more you build your confidence, your strength, and your resilience. One of the biggest reasons fear holds people back is that they're focusing too much on the outcome. They're afraid of what will happen if they fail, so they don't take the risk in the first place. They want everything to be perfect, to be certain, before they make a move. But here's the truth. Nothing is ever certain. There's never a perfect time to take action, and you'll never have all the answers. Success isn't about knowing everything beforehand. It's about taking the first step and figuring it out as you go. The fear of failure is a sign that you're trying to control everything, but you can't control everything. What you can control is your willingness to try, your ability to take that first step, and your commitment to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. If you want to succeed, you have to learn to let go of the need for certainty. Stop waiting for the right time, because that time may never come. The right time is now. The only time you have is the present. The more you focus on taking action and moving forward, the less power fear has over you. Because you start to realize that failure is just feedback. Rejection is just redirection. It's not the end. It's just part of the journey. Now I want to take a moment and challenge you. What is it that you've been avoiding because of fear? Is there something you've been wanting to do, but you've been too scared to take the first step? Maybe it's a business idea you've been sitting on, or a conversation you've been putting off, or a risk you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, I want you to think about it for a second. What's the worst that could happen? You might fail. You might get rejected. But here's the thing. You're not going to die from failure. You're not going to lose your life. because someone told you no. The worst thing that can happen is that you learn, you grow, and you try again. And that's not the end of the road. It's just another step forward. So I challenge you to take action, to feel the fear, and do it anyway. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll realize that fear is just a feeling, not a fact. And the more you face it, the more you'll realize that the real failure is never trying in the first place. The real failure is letting fear control you, keeping you from the success that's waiting for you. Success is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the people who give up at the first sign of fear or failure. It's for the people who push through, who keep going when things get tough, and who refuse to let fear stop them. So stop letting fear control you. Stop letting the fear of failure and rejection keep you from your dreams. Take action. Keep moving forward. Because the only way to overcome fear is to face it head on. And when you do that, you'll find that you're stronger than you ever thought possible. Number 4. Why most people can't handle criticism. It's something we all face at some point in life. And it's one of the most difficult things to deal with. No one likes to hear that they're doing something wrong or that their efforts aren't good enough. But here's the hard truth. If you want to succeed, you have to learn to handle criticism. Because in life, you will be criticized. It's inevitable. The question is, how are you going to respond to it? Most people, when faced with criticism, react defensively. They feel attacked, they feel hurt, or they try to justify themselves. They put up walls, they get angry, and they try to push away the feedback. But here's the problem: that reaction is a barrier to growth. You see, criticism isn't something to be feared. In fact, criticism is one of the best tools you have to get better, to improve, and to move closer to success. If you shut it down, if you ignore it, or push it away, you're missing out on the opportunity to grow. Now, I know it's not easy. No one wants to hear that they're doing something wrong. It's uncomfortable. It hurts. But if you want to be successful, you have to develop a thicker skin. You have to be able to hear the criticism without letting it destroy you. You have to separate yourself from your work. When someone criticizes something you've done, it's not a reflection of you as a person. It's not a judgment on your worth. It's simply feedback on the task at hand, and you can choose to take that feedback and use it to improve. Or you can let it knock you down and keep you from moving forward. The biggest reason why most people can't handle criticism is because of their egos. When someone points out something that isn't perfect, our egos get bruised. We take it personally. We feel like we've failed. But the reality is, we all have room to grow. No one is perfect, and no one knows everything. Criticism is a way to highlight areas where you can improve. It's a chance to learn something new, to sharpen your skills, and to become better at what you do. But here's the catch. Not all criticism is constructive. Some people criticize just to bring you down, to make you feel small, or to put their own insecurities onto you. That's the kind of criticism you need to ignore. The type of feedback that comes from a place of negativity and bitterness will never help you grow. Instead, focus on the criticism that is meant to help you improve, the feedback that comes from people who want to see you succeed. The next time you receive criticism, ask yourself a few questions. Is this feedback coming from someone who has experience or knowledge in the area I'm working on? Is it constructive and aimed at helping me improve? If the answer is yes, then take it seriously. Don't let your ego get in the way of your growth. But if the feedback is coming from someone who has no idea what they're talking about, or if it's just meant to tear you down, then let it roll off your back. Don't give it any power. Handling criticism isn't just about developing a thick skin. It's about developing the ability to see it for what it truly is, an opportunity for growth. The best way to handle criticism is to approach it with a mindset of curiosity, not defensiveness. Instead of getting upset or feeling attacked, try to understand where the feedback is coming from. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become better? When you start seeing criticism as a tool for improvement, you will no longer fear it. In fact, you'll start to embrace it. Another thing to keep in mind is that criticism isn't just about what other people say. Sometimes the harshest criticism comes from within. We're our own worst critics. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards and beat ourselves up when we don't meet them. But here's the thing. Perfection is not the goal. Progress is. You will never be perfect. And that's okay. What matters is that you're constantly moving forward, learning from your mistakes, and getting better with each step you take. The most successful people in the world are the ones who can handle criticism. They understand that it's part of the journey. They know that if they want to keep growing, they need to be open to feedback, even if it's tough to hear. And here's something you need to understand. The people who succeed don't take criticism personally. They take it as a tool to help them grow, to push them to the next level. They don't let it shake their confidence. Instead, they use it to become better at what they do. Let's be clear about one thing. Criticism doesn't define you. What you do with it defines you. It's not about what someone else says or thinks. It's about how you respond. You can choose to let criticism defeat you, or you can choose to use it to fuel your growth. The choice is yours. Think about the times you've received feedback in the past. How did you react? Did you get defensive? Or did you take the time to listen and learn? If you found yourself getting defensive, don't beat yourself up. It's natural. We all have a knee-jerk reaction when our work is criticized. But now I want you to think about how you can respond differently next time. The next time someone points out something you can improve, take a deep breath, listen to what they have to say, and think about how you can apply it to your work. If it's constructive, use it. If it's not, let it go. As you get better at handling criticism, you'll notice something. You'll start to improve faster. You'll start to make progress in ways you never thought possible, because you're no longer holding yourself back with pride or ego. You're embracing feedback, and that's one of the keys to success. The most successful people are the ones who are open to learning. They're the ones who are always seeking to improve, and they understand that criticism is just part of that process. Now I want you to think about your goals. What's holding you back from achieving them? What's stopping you from taking the next step forward? Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe it's the fear of rejection. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the fear of criticism. If that's the case, I want you to do something today. I want you to reframe your thinking. Instead of seeing criticism as a threat, see it as a gift. It's the feedback you need to get better. It's the tool that will help you grow. And when you start seeing it that way, you'll stop fearing it, and you'll start using it to fuel your success. Number 5. The difference between dreamers and doers. There's a big difference between dreamers and doers. And if you've ever wondered why some people seem to make it while others continue to talk about their dreams without ever moving forward, this is the key difference. Dreamers are the ones who have big visions and ideas. They're full of energy, full of hope, and full of ambition. They can talk for hours about their dreams, what they want to achieve, and how they're going to change the world. But when it comes time to take action, they hesitate. They get distracted. They get stuck in the planning phase. Or worse, they end up giving up altogether. Doers, on the other hand, are the ones who take those same big dreams and turn them into reality. Doers aren't satisfied with just talking about their dreams. They take the necessary steps, put in the hard work, and keep pushing forward, no matter how difficult the journey may be. They understand that success doesn't come from thinking about what you want to do. It comes from doing it. It's about making progress, even if that progress is slow, even if it feels like you're not getting anywhere at all. The important thing is that you're doing something. You're moving forward. You're learning. You're growing. And you're taking action. Most people spend their lives in the dreamer phase. They think about all the things they want to do, all the goals they want to achieve, but they never actually get around to doing them. They get stuck in the endless cycle of planning and preparation, but they never pull the trigger. They wait for the right time. They wait for the perfect opportunity, and then that perfect time never comes. The problem with waiting for the perfect time is that it never arrives. There's never going to be a perfect moment when everything falls into place and you feel 100% ready. You have to make that moment happen. You have to take action, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels risky, even when you're not sure what's going to happen next. So what makes the difference between dreamers and doers? It's the willingness to act. It's the willingness to put in the work, day in and day out, even when you don't see immediate results. Doers understand that success isn't about overnight breakthroughs. It's about small, consistent steps that compound over time. They know that progress is made through daily effort, through persistence, through a commitment to the process. And when things get tough, when they face setbacks and failures, doers don't give up. They keep going. They adapt. They learn from their mistakes. and keep moving forward. They're not waiting for everything to line up perfectly. They're making things happen. On the other hand, dreamers often get discouraged when things don't go according to plan. They expect instant results. They think that if they put in a little bit of effort, they should see big rewards right away. When that doesn't happen, they get frustrated. They get disheartened. They start to doubt themselves. And eventually they give up. They convince themselves that maybe they weren't cut out for this after all, or that their dream is just too big and unrealistic. The thing is, dreams take time. They take effort. They take commitment. But that's where the difference lies. Doers understand that. Doers know that success doesn't happen overnight, and they're willing to put in the work, even when the results aren't immediate. Let me tell you something. The world is full of dreamers. There's no shortage of people with great ideas, with big plans, and with high hopes for the future. But if you want to stand out, if you want to be part of the small percentage of people who actually make it, you have to be a doer. You have to stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it. It doesn't matter how big your dreams are. What matters is whether or not you're taking action. You can't wait for permission. You can't wait for everything to be perfect. You can't wait until you're ready. You have to take that first step. You have to make it happen. Here's the truth. Success is not about waiting for the right time or the right conditions. It's about taking action, no matter what the conditions are. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone, making decisions and taking risks. It's about facing uncertainty with confidence and embracing the fact that things won't always go smoothly. Doers don't wait for the perfect opportunity. They create their own opportunities. They take what they have right now and make the most of it. They don't sit around complaining about how hard things are. They go to work. One of the biggest mistakes dreamers make is that they think success is about having all the right answers. They think they have to have it all figured out before they even start. But that's not true. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have a perfect plan. You don't even have to have all the resources you think you need. You just need to take the first step. You just need to make progress. The answers will come as you go. The opportunities will present themselves as you put in the effort. But you have to be willing to take action. Let's say you've got a big goal in mind. Maybe you want to start a business, or you want to write a book, or you want to lose weight and get healthy. Whatever it is, the first step is the hardest. It's always the hardest, because it means stepping out of your comfort zone. It means doing something you've never done before. It means facing the unknown. But here's the thing. Once you take that first step, the rest gets easier. It doesn't get easy, but it gets easier. Because now you're moving. Now you're building momentum. Now you're in motion. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces you can harness. Doers understand that it's all about momentum. Momentum makes the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. Momentum is what keeps you going when you don't feel like it. Momentum is what pushes you past the obstacles, past the doubt, and past the fear. But momentum doesn't just happen. You have to create it. You have to take that first step. You have to get moving. And once you start moving, once you start making progress, you'll find that things begin to fall into place. The right people will show up. The right opportunities will present themselves. But you can't get to that point if you're still stuck in the dream phase, still waiting for the perfect moment. It's easy to get caught up in thinking that you're not ready yet. It's easy to tell yourself that you don't have enough experience, that you don't have enough resources, or that you're not good enough. But the truth is, no one is ever fully ready. No one has all the answers. No one has everything figured out. But doers know that the only way to find the answers is by doing. The only way to learn and grow is by taking action, making mistakes, and adjusting along the way. If you're tired of dreaming and ready to start doing, it's time to stop waiting. It's time to stop making excuses and start taking responsibility for your future. The world is full of opportunities, but they won't come to you if you're sitting around waiting for them. You have to go out and get them. You have to take that first step, no matter how small it may seem. Because the longer you wait, the further you get from your goals. And the more time you waste, the more difficult it will be to catch up. Number 6. The secret of daily improvement. It doesn't just fall into your lap because you wish for it or because you have the right connections. Success happens because of daily, consistent effort. It happens because of the choices you make each day, the small actions that add up over time. There's a secret to success that most people overlook or underestimate, and that secret is daily improvement. When we think of success, we often think of the big, dramatic moments. We think of the breakthrough, the moment everything clicks, the moment we hit the goal we've been working for. But in reality, that big moment is a result of everything you did before. It's a result of the daily habits, the small actions, the quiet work that no one sees. That's where real progress is made. Success is not about waiting for a lucky break. It's about showing up every day and getting a little better than you were the day before. This is where most people get it wrong. Most people want quick results. They want to see huge leaps forward. They want the shortcut, the fast track. But the truth is, there is no shortcut. There is no easy way. Success comes from the little things you do consistently. It's about building momentum through small wins. It's about making progress every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it seems like nothing is happening. It's about showing up and putting in the work. Think about it like this. When you want to get better at something, you have to commit to improving each day. Whether it's learning a new skill, getting fit, growing a business, or working on your personal development, the only way to get better is by practicing daily. The improvement doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be obvious. It just has to be there. Over time, those small daily improvements stack up, and that's when you start to see the big results. Take fitness as an example. If you want to get in shape, it's not about doing one huge workout that makes a huge impact. It's about consistently showing up and putting in the work, even when you don't feel like it. Some days you may feel like you're not making much progress, but when you look back after a few weeks or months, you realize just how far you've come. The same applies to anything you're trying to improve. If you want to get better at writing, you have to write every day. If you want to learn a new language, you have to practice it every day. The improvement happens over time. It's a process, and that process is powered by consistency. The secret of daily improvement is so simple, but it's often overlooked. It's the foundation of success, and it's available to everyone. But very few people actually commit to it. Most people want to see immediate results, and when they don't, they get discouraged. They think, I've been working on this for weeks, and I don't see any progress. But that's the thing. You may not see progress right away, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the plant growing right away, but if you keep watering it and giving it sunlight, eventually it will grow. This is the mindset you need to develop. If you want to succeed, you have to trust the process. You have to believe that the small efforts you make every day are adding up, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. And you have to show up every day, no matter what. The key is consistency. It's about doing something every day that moves you closer to your goal. It's not about working harder than everyone else or working for longer hours. It's about working smarter and more consistently than others. The people who succeed are the ones who understand this. They understand that success is not about doing everything all at once. It's not about burning out trying to do it all in one day. It's about making incremental progress every single day. And that's what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. The people who succeed are the ones who are committed to getting better, day after day. They don't give up just because they don't see immediate results. They trust that the small efforts will eventually add up to something bigger. Here's the thing. Most people want to see huge results without putting in the daily work. They want the payoff without the sacrifice. But that's not how success works. Success is a result of the choices you make every single day. It's the sum of all the small actions you take, all the little things you do consistently. That's where the magic happens. So how do you apply this to your life? How do you make daily improvement a part of your routine? First, you have to make a commitment to yourself. You have to decide that you're going to improve, no matter what. And then you have to start small. You don't need to make huge changes overnight. Just start by doing something every day that moves you in the right direction. It could be something simple, reading a book for 30 minutes, working on a project for an hour, or exercising for 20 minutes. The point is to make a commitment and stick to it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be flawless, but you do have to be consistent. and that consistency will pay off. When you look back a month, 6 months, or a year from now, you'll see just how much you've grown. You'll see that the small things you did every day have added up to something big. And that's when you'll realize that success isn't about one big moment. It's about all the little moments along the way, all the small improvements you made, all the times you showed up when you didn't feel like it. Most people want success without the effort. They want to win without putting in the work. But the truth is, there is no success without effort. There is no success without daily improvement. And there is no shortcut to success. The only way to succeed is by doing the work every single day. It's the daily improvement that leads to success. It's the daily effort that makes the difference. So start small. Make a commitment to improve every day, no matter how small the progress may seem. And over time, you'll start to see the results. Because success is not about the big moments. It's about the small moments, repeated day in and day out. Number 7. Why most people lack a strong work ethic. It's not a matter of waiting for the right opportunity or the perfect moment. It's not about getting lucky or hoping for a miracle. Success is built on the foundation of hard work. It's about putting in the effort when no one is watching, grinding day after day, even when you don't feel like it. This is the hard truth that many people ignore. They want the results, but they aren't willing to put in the necessary work to get there. The truth is, success is a direct reflection of your work ethic. The more effort you put into something, the more likely you are to succeed. But here's where most people fall short. They lack the drive, the discipline, and the consistency that it takes to succeed. They want to take shortcuts. They want the results without the effort. But that's not how life works. You can't skip the work and expect to succeed. Success is a result of the hard work you put in. And if you're not willing to put in that work, you're not going to see the results. There's no easy way to get what you want. If you want to be successful, you need to be willing to put in the work, day in and day out. The people who succeed are the ones who understand this. They understand that success isn't about luck. It's about discipline. It's about sacrifice. It's about working when others are resting, pushing yourself when others are taking breaks. It's about doing the things you don't want to do because you know they will pay off in the long run. Think about it this way. You can't expect to build a house without putting in the labor. You can't expect to be fit without putting in the work at the gym. You can't expect to grow a business without putting in the effort to build it from the ground up. It's the same with success in any area of life. Whether you're working towards a personal goal, building a career, or trying to make a difference, the work you put in is what will determine your success. There's no substitute for hard work. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking, but Jim, I'm already working hard. I'm already putting in the time and effort, and I get it. But here's the thing. Working hard isn't enough. You need to work smart too. You need to be strategic about your efforts. You need to make sure that the work you're doing is moving you closer to your goals, not just keeping you busy. You can work 12 hours a day, but if you're not working on the right things, it's not going to matter. So yes, working hard is important, but working with purpose is just as crucial. You need to identify what actions will get you closer to your goal and focus your energy there. Don't waste time on activities that don't contribute to your progress. If you want to succeed, you need to be deliberate about how you spend your time and effort. But let's get back to the core of it. Success requires a strong work ethic. It's the foundation that everything else is built upon. Without it, you're just spinning your wheels. You may have the best ideas, the most talent, the most potential, but if you don't put in the work, none of that matters. It's the same thing with any goal. It doesn't matter how badly you want it. It doesn't matter how much you dream about it. If you're not putting in the effort, you're not going to get there. So how do you develop a strong work ethic? It starts with discipline. It starts with showing up every single day and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. There are days when you're going to be tired, when you're going to want to take a break, when you're going to want to quit. But those are the moments that matter most. Those are the moments that will define whether or not you succeed. The people who succeed are the ones who push through those moments. They're the ones who do the work, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when they're tired. Discipline is the key to building a strong work ethic. It's about making a decision every single day to show up, to put in the effort, and to stay focused on your goals. It's about doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It's about developing a mindset that doesn't let you make excuses. When you have discipline, you don't wait for motivation. You don't need to feel inspired to get to work. You do it because it's what needs to be done, and you're committed to doing it no matter what. The next thing you need to develop a strong work ethic is consistency. You can't expect to achieve your goals if you only put in the effort some of the time. You need to show up every day and put in the work consistently. Success is built on the little things you do every day, not the big things you do once in a while. It's about forming habits that keep you moving forward, no matter what obstacles or distractions come your way. When you're consistent, progress becomes inevitable. Even if the results aren't immediate, you're always moving in the right direction. And remember, the work isn't always glamorous. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's just about putting your head down and getting the job done, even when it's not fun. But the truth is, that's where most of the work gets done, in the quiet, behind-the-scenes moments when no one is watching. That's when the real progress happens. It's the work that no one sees that ultimately leads to success. So don't expect to be celebrated for every small step. Just focus on doing the work. The results will come, even if they take longer than you expect. Another important aspect of a strong work ethic is sacrifice. To achieve success, you have to be willing to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to give up some things in the short term for the long-term rewards. This might mean giving up your free time, socializing less, or putting aside other interests for a while. It's about making the tough decisions that will ultimately get you closer to your goal. Success is a trade-off. You have to ask yourself if the sacrifices you're making today are worth the rewards you'll reap tomorrow. The answer is almost always yes. Finally, a strong work ethic requires a mindset shift. You have to change the way you think about work. Instead of seeing it as a burden, see it as an opportunity. See it as a chance to grow, to learn, and to get closer to your goals. The more you embrace hard work, the easier it becomes. The more you make work a part of your routine, the less you'll have to force yourself to do it. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Success isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing the right things consistently. It's about having the discipline, the consistency, and the sacrifice to get things done. And most importantly, it's about never quitting. Keep putting in the effort. Keep doing the work, because the people who succeed are the ones who never give up. No matter how hard it gets, they keep working, and they keep pushing, because they know that success is the result of hard work. Number 8, the importance of taking full responsibility. It doesn't show up because you wish for it or dream about it. It's earned through hard work, effort, and dedication. It's about being relentless, about pushing yourself every single day, even when the world feels like it's pushing back at you. Winners don't give up. Winners don't back down. They push themselves even when they're tired, even when they don't feel like it, and even when the odds are stacked against them. The key to becoming a winner is in pushing yourself every day. It's about recognizing that you don't achieve success by being comfortable. You don't achieve success by staying in your comfort zone. In fact, you'll never grow if you stay where it's easy. Winners push past the easy. They push past the comfort. They challenge themselves. They step up when others are sitting down. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating the perfect moment through relentless effort. When you wake up each day, you have a choice. You can choose to be like everyone else, to stay comfortable, to stay in your routine, to stay in the easy lane. Or you can choose to be the person who takes control of their destiny. You can choose to push yourself beyond your limits. You can choose to make today better than yesterday. You can choose to put in the effort, even when it feels hard. Even when you feel like you have nothing left to give. That's where real growth happens. When you push yourself past the limits of what you thought you could do. When you show up every day, ready to give more than the day before. Winners don't wait for motivation to strike them out of the blue. Winners don't wait for someone to tell them what to do. Winners create their own motivation. They push themselves, day in and day out, because they know that without effort, without pushing themselves, success will never come. If you want to be a winner, You need to be willing to get uncomfortable. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It doesn't happen when you're coasting along, taking it easy, and letting things slide. It happens when you're willing to do the hard things, the things that are outside of your regular routine, the things that require extra effort, the things that challenge you and make you uncomfortable. Those are the things that will push you toward your goals. Those are the things that will make you better. Think about it. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by taking it easy. They didn't get there by staying within the limits of what they already knew. They got there by pushing themselves every single day, by stepping out of their comfort zones, by doing the hard work when others were taking shortcuts. They didn't wait for opportunities. They created their own. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They made the moment perfect through hard work and persistence. And that's the mentality you need. If you want to be successful, you need to understand that nothing will come to you without effort. If you want something, you have to work for it. If you want to change your life, you have to change your habits. If you want to achieve your dreams, you have to put in the work every single day. No one is going to do it for you. No one is going to hand you success. You have to earn it. And you do that by pushing yourself beyond your limits every day. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to face setbacks. You're going to have days where you feel like giving up. But that's where most people stop. That's where they quit. They let the obstacles stop them. They let the setbacks discourage them. They let the tough days defeat them. But the winners, they keep going. The winners push through. They push through the obstacles. They push through the setbacks. They push through the tough days, knowing that every challenge they face is an opportunity for growth. If you want to be a winner, you need to develop a mindset of persistence. You need to be willing to push yourself when it feels hard. You need to be willing to push yourself when no one is cheering you on. You need to be willing to keep going when you don't feel like it, because that's when the real progress happens. Winners don't stop. Winners keep pushing forward, even when they're tired, even when it feels like they're not making progress. They know that success isn't about taking giant leaps forward every day. It's about the small, consistent steps that add up over time. Every day is an opportunity to push yourself. Every day is an opportunity to make progress toward your goals. But you have to show up. You have to put in the effort. You have to push yourself. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. Take control of your own destiny. Push yourself every single day. And over time, you'll see the results. When you push yourself, you become better. You become stronger. You become more resilient. You build the mental toughness that will carry you through the challenges you'll face. And when you look back, you'll realize that the hard days, the tough moments, the moments when you wanted to quit, those were the moments that made you stronger. Those were the moments that helped you grow into the person you are today. So what are you waiting for? If you want to win, you need to push yourself every day. You need to show up. Even when it's hard, you need to put in the effort. Even when you don't feel like it, you need to challenge yourself. Even when you're comfortable. Winners don't wait for the stars to align. Winners don't wait for everything to fall into place. They make it happen through their actions, through their persistence, through their hard work. Number 9, the cost of success that most ignore. It's easy to tell yourself that you're going to work when everything feels right, when the conditions are perfect, when you're feeling energized and motivated. But the real test comes when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when you're distracted, when the world feels like it's pushing against you. That's when the decision to work matters the most. That's when your success is truly determined. The ability to force yourself to work when you don't feel like it is a game changer. It's the secret weapon of the successful. Let's face it, life isn't always going to be on your side. There will be days when you're not motivated, when you don't feel inspired, when your body just wants to shut down, and that's when most people give up. They wait for the feeling of motivation to show up before they take action. But let me tell you, that's the wrong way to approach it. The key is in making the decision to work, even when you don't feel like it. It's all about discipline. It's all about the ability to push through the resistance, to do the work even when your mind is telling you to take a break. When you can master the art of working without motivation, you become unstoppable. You become the person who shows up day after day, putting in the effort, making progress, even when no one else is around to see it. That's where the real growth happens. When no one's watching, when there's no applause, when it's just you and your determination pushing through. I know it's not easy. It's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for motivation to strike. We all do it. We think that motivation is the spark that will light the fire of productivity. But let me tell you, motivation is overrated. It comes and goes. It's fleeting. It's not something you can rely on. What you can rely on, though, is the habit of working, the discipline of showing up, whether you feel like it or not. The people who succeed are the ones who show up consistently, even when it's hard. So how do you do it? How do you work when you don't feel like it? It starts with understanding that the work is always worth it. It's understanding that success is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking action regardless of the moment. You have to develop a mindset that says, I'm going to work because I know it's the right thing to do. I'm going to push myself because I know my goals are worth it. It starts with setting clear intentions. When you know what you want and why you want it, it becomes easier to push through the moments when you don't feel like working. You see, when your purpose is clear, the temporary discomfort of working through exhaustion or lack of motivation doesn't seem so bad. You understand that it's a part of the process. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you're working toward. Think about the big picture. Think about the life you want to create. Think about the person you want to become. And then realize that every single action you take today, whether you feel like it or not, is bringing you one step closer to that future. The work you do now, even when it feels like a struggle, is building the foundation for your success. That's how you stay motivated when motivation is nowhere to be found. You realize that the work itself is the key to your success, not waiting around for some magical moment of inspiration. Another way to push yourself to work is by embracing the discomfort. When you're tired, when you feel lazy, when you want to just sit back and relax, that's when you have to remind yourself that success isn't comfortable. Growth doesn't happen when you're coasting. It happens when you're pushing past your limits. The discomfort you feel when you force yourself to work is the exact feeling you need to embrace. It's the sign that you're stretching yourself, that you're doing something that matters, that you're moving forward. But here's the truth. It's going to be tough at times. There are going to be days when you can't seem to find the energy to work. Days when the motivation feels like it's completely gone. And that's when you really have to force yourself to keep going. On those days, success doesn't feel easy. It feels like a grind. But you know what? It's worth it. Every bit of effort you put in, even when it feels difficult, adds up. It builds momentum. It builds character. It builds the discipline that will carry you through the harder times. Sometimes you have to trick yourself into working. Set small goals for yourself that are so simple, you can't refuse them. Tell yourself, I'm just going to work for 10 minutes, or I'm just going to write one paragraph. Once you start, you'll often find that the momentum carries you forward. The hardest part is getting started. But once you've made the decision to show up, even for just a little while, you've already overcome the biggest hurdle. The rest will follow. The key here is consistency. You don't have to work all day every day. You don't have to put in 16-hour shifts. What you need to do is show up consistently, day after day, and do the work, even when you don't feel like it. That's the secret to success. It's not about the big bursts of energy or motivation. It's about the quiet, consistent effort that compounds over time. You also have to be kind to yourself in the process. Working when you don't feel like it doesn't mean you're going to feel great every time. You're going to have tough days. You're going to feel drained. But you have to push through those feelings. You have to remind yourself that the work is worth it. It's easy to give yourself an excuse to stop when things get tough. But the winners, the ones who succeed, are the ones who keep going when the going gets rough. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They take control of their mindset and stay focused on the task at hand. It's important to also understand that working when you don't feel like it isn't about perfection. It's about showing up and doing your best, even when your best feels a little less than ideal. Some days you'll be on fire, and everything will come together effortlessly. But on other days, it's going to feel like you're dragging yourself through the work. And that's okay. The key is to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep showing up. Perfection isn't the goal, progress is, and every time you show up, even on the tough days, you're making progress. Number 10. Why most people don't set clear goals. We often hear about successful people, but we don't always see the full picture. We don't always see the years of struggle, the sacrifices, and the many small steps they took to get to where they are. What we see is the result, the end product of all the work that's gone into making it happen. But here's the truth. Success doesn't come easy for anyone. The people who make it are the ones who get up, keep going, and never give up, even when they face setbacks, challenges, or tough times. The reason most people don't succeed, the reason they never reach their full potential, is because they give up too soon. They don't have the right mindset, they don't have the right habits, or they simply aren't willing to do what it takes to get to where they want to go. The world is full of people with big dreams, but far fewer are willing to put in the consistent work to make those dreams a reality. Success requires action, and it requires persistence. It's about pushing forward, even when you don't feel like it, and doing whatever it takes to reach your goals. The first step towards success is understanding that it won't be easy. You're not going to wake up one day and magically find yourself where you want to be. If you want to make something of yourself, if you want to achieve your goals, you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to show up every single day, even when things aren't going your way, and keep pushing forward. It's not always going to be comfortable. In fact, it's often going to be uncomfortable. But that discomfort is what leads to growth. It's what leads to success. There's a difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not that successful people are any more talented or capable than others. It's that they have the persistence to keep going, even when the odds are stacked against them. They understand that success isn't about immediate results. It's about doing the right things consistently, day after day, no matter how small the progress may seem. And that's where most people fall short. They give up too soon because they don't see the immediate payoff. They don't realize that success is a journey, not a destination. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that success should happen quickly. In today's world, everything seems to be fast-paced. We're used to instant gratification, but success doesn't work like that. If you want to achieve something meaningful, something that will change your life, you need to be willing to put in the work for the long haul. You need to be prepared to face obstacles, setbacks, and challenges along the way. And you need to stay committed, even when it gets tough. But here's the thing. If you can stick with it, if you can keep pushing forward, even when you feel like giving up, that's when the magic happens. That's when success starts to take shape. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Success comes to those who refuse to quit, no matter how hard things get. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about getting back up every time you fall down, learning from your mistakes, and continuing to move forward. There's a reason why most people don't succeed. They don't have the right mindset. They don't have the mental toughness to push through adversity. They don't have the discipline to stay on track, day after day, doing what needs to be done. They give up too easily. They quit too soon. And they never see their goals through to the end. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is their ability to keep going when things get tough. It's their ability to push through the hard times and keep their eyes on the bigger picture. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well. It's easy to put in the work when you're feeling good, when you're excited about the future. But success isn't just about the good times. It's about how you respond when things aren't going your way. It's about what you do when things get hard, when you're faced with challenges, and when you feel like you're not making any progress. The successful people are the ones who keep going when it's tough. They don't let setbacks stop them. They don't let failures define them. They use those obstacles as fuel to push harder, to work smarter, and to keep moving forward. Success also requires a deep understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. You have to have a clear sense of purpose, a reason for why you're putting in the work. If you don't have a strong enough reason for your goals, it's easy to give up when things get tough. But if you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, and you're passionate about it, then no obstacle will be too great to overcome. Your purpose will drive you. Your why will keep you going, even when everything else seems to be falling apart. And let's not forget about the importance of taking responsibility for your actions. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they don't take full responsibility for their lives. They blame others for their problems. They make excuses, and they don't take ownership of their mistakes. But if you want to succeed, you need to take full responsibility for everything that happens in your life. You need to own your decisions, your actions, and your results. When you take responsibility, you take control of your future. You stop blaming others for your failures and start looking for ways to improve. You stop making excuses and start making progress. Another key to success is setting clear goals. Without clear goals, you're just drifting through life. You're not working toward anything specific. You're not focused on what you want to achieve. Success requires a clear vision of where you want to go and a plan to get there. You have to know exactly what you want, why you want it, and how you're going to make it happen. Without goals, you're just going through the motions. With goals, you have a sense of direction, a purpose, and a reason to keep going, even when it gets tough. But here's the thing, you can set all the goals you want, but if you're not willing to put in the work, those goals are just wishes. Success requires action. It requires consistent effort, day after day. It requires that you show up, even when you don't feel like it. It requires that you put in the time, the energy, and the effort, no matter how hard it gets. If you're willing to put in the work, success will come. But if you're not, then your goals will remain just dreams.